Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falco Paladin, a little bit under the weather, coming to you with another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. It's going to be a brave new world between Kittle and xale here on Oxide. Top right it is Kittle, and in the bottom left here it is xale. Did you hear about the new maps StarCraft 2 is getting? I'll put a link to them, the announcement, and the link to the maps in the description. I haven't had a chance to check them out yet because they just released a couple of hours ago and I was working, and hooray, new maps for StarCraft 2. So Brave New World is my every other week examination of what's going on in the Bronze and Silver League levels, right? Right. If you want me to cast your game, send it to Snipermonkey at the email address in the description with the subject of Brave Noob World. He will watch it and let me know which ones are the best, and I will choose which one to cast. And let's go ahead and get right onto this TVT. So you don't wall off on the high ground in TVT, xale, because Marines and Marauders can sit down here and shoot down your barracks, shoot down your supply depots, and Kittle has the right idea. And walling off doesn't help you against Reapers anyway. So, scouting, here is xale, as you do in the lower leagues. Worker scouting, just to make sure it's not a proxy. Zoom, but both players, you know, just doing pretty much the same thing here. One gas, one barracks, and usually a Reaper opening here. Yes, so it's a Reaper, and oh, not a Reaper, not a Reaper at all. So let's go ahead and pull up my Reaper name list, which I think I have somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's see. Where's our Reaper for xale? We'll give him the name when it's ready to go. That's another barracks coming up from xale. On the other side, just walling off with 3 supply depots. So Kittle's kind of falling apart here. He's going to have way too much supply available for what he's got going. But better to have too much supply than to be supply blocked the whole game, I guess. So this Reaper's name is Deku, a boy born into a world where superpowers are mundane. Deku was one of the only few born without a quirk to call his own. However, after saving his childhood bully from a villain, Deku was approached by a man who promised Deku that for a heroic act that he, a quirkless, could become a hero. The problem was it was a Dominion Reaper program recruiter. Why the Dominion hasn't tried recruiting or drafting quirked individuals is anyone's guess. No, poor Deku. He thought he was getting his dream and instead he's being tricked by the Dominion. So, pro tip for xale, go kill SCVs, don't kill buildings with this Reaper. I like that she showed up with the Reaper, the timing is really good here. Oh, KDA charge even being used, very nicely done, getting some extra damage on those Marines, but you don't do enough damage to them to fight them straight up. And I fear you backed yourself into a death corner, and yes, Deku is dead, tragically. Fairly well, Deku. It's not your fault you're dead. It is, unfortunately, xale's fault. Okay, so basically, one rack's expanding with the command center inside the main base. Here is Kittle. Kind of the same thing going on from xale, but he has the second rack's already up. He's got a factory coming up here too, and there's a factory around the way from Kittle, but it is later than xale's here. So, what you generally want to do here in TVT is Marine tank with some Viking support, Liberators in there too to kind of get rid of tank lines, because Liberators can set up that circle of doom, circle of death on top of the tanks, at least force them to move, but sometimes you're also able to kill them, which is pretty nice too. Alright, so, actually loading up some SCVs inside the command center to give them a ride down here, which is not as fast as just walking them down, but that's okay. I mean, it was a fun ride for the SCVs. Who are we going to say no to that? Army supply, Kittle's just been pumping Marines pretty effectively, man. He's spending his money. He's not supply bought because he made these extra 3 supply depots before anything else. He's going for engineering bay for upgrades and stuff, and I like Kittle's plan. I think he's going for a Marine tank play, which makes a lot of sense here in TVT. xale on the other side. Got a couple of Marines. Dude, these, wow. This Marine skin, especially with the Carbot's shoulder icons there of the smiley star, make them look a little bit different than normal, so that's kind of fun. Starport even here from xale. So xale, he knows. He's watched some TVT before. He knows what Terran is capable of. Ah, actually reactoring. Okay, swapping. I was going to say, I don't know if you want to react or anything. Maybe Widow Mines could be kind of interesting in this lower level TVT. But instead, he's going to go onto the tech lab, and he's going to start double pumping medevacs with the starport. Love that play from him. On the other side, no medevac potential at all from Kittle, and he's playing a little bit too defensively. If you're going to make this much stuff, I almost feel like you need to go. If you're just going to sit here and defend, either expand or attack at about 5 minutes in this matchup, you got to do one of those things. If you just sit on 2 base and hang out, you're not doing as well as you otherwise would. So both players kind of just chilling. That is sometimes what happens in the lower leagues. The higher levels are extremely aggressive. You have harassment going on from both sides. Zerg's usually more defense-focused, but they will do Ling run-bys and baneling hits on bases and all sorts of stuff to sort of slow down their opponent. But in the lower leagues, it is scary to move out. I totally understand that, especially when you have no vision on your opponent at all. I mean, Kittle hasn't even scouted. He doesn't know if there's a second base, by all means. He just has no concept whatsoever. Yeah, so Kittle might be just going for a Turtle Terran style play, wherein you get a bunch of siege tanks, you get missile turrets up, you're really hard to drop, you're really hard to attack on up this ramp, and then you just try to max out on 2 base, which you can do. It just doesn't last very long is the problem. You'll start running out of resources here. There was a time in Legacy of the Void where the mineral count on these bases was higher, and you could kind of live on 2 bases for quite some time. But then Blizzard was like, we like expanding, we like players being forced to get out, we like bases mining out a little bit more quickly, and I agree with that. So xale at this point, I think he could probably get a drop into the main that could be really damaging. As long as it doesn't fly directly into this missile turret, or, you know, maybe go after this 3rd base. Either one of these things is nice, because xale's getting a 3rd base of his own, which, again, tiny bit late, but this is Brave Noob World. I mean, these are players that they're working on it, right? They're working on their play. Both of them have a pretty good concept of what's up. They're spending their money pretty effectively thus far. That does seem to change when attacks start arriving here. Do not lose the medevac. Oh, he lost the medevac. Oh, no, he lost the medevac. All right, well, medevac dies, but the sensor tower goes down and the missile turret dies here too. They do try to take down the starport, but then everybody from Kittle arrives, and they've got +1 attack, and sure, xale had +1 armor, but the numbers were just too much to overcome when you're even on resources like that. So, bleh. Bit of a rough play there from xale. Yeah, I mean, if he had his full complement of Marines there and didn't lose the 2nd medevac, I like his position a lot better. But instead he flew into the one position where there was a single missile turret, lost his medevac, and that was problematic. If he came down here and killed this base, that would have been better. If he'd come over here and dropped in this location, it would have been a lot better. Maybe even holding the top of this ramp. That siege tank's in a pretty good position, though, to deal with stuff on the top of that ramp, so I don't know. That is a better question. Still, pumping additional medevacs right now is xale. Marines. All of the Marines working on +1 attack here is xale as well. And both players' 3rd bases are done. Not much saturation there yet, but that's okay. I think they're working on it. Both players are producing SCVs, which is, I always say, in every Brave New World cast, always be making supply depots and SCVs if you're Terran, probes and pylons if you're Protoss, and drones and overlords if you are a Zerg player. You just need that worker count to be up. If you have a higher worker count, it's much easier for you to win these games. If you have a tiny worker count, you're not going to have a big army, and then you're going to die. So this is Kittle. He doesn't believe in medevacs. He believes they are against his religious beliefs, that they will cause him to go to his version of a bad afterlife. And as a result, he's just using Marines with +1 attack, and that's about it. Excuse me. I'm a little bit under the weather here today. I'm sure you can tell. I'm trying to get better, but not straining the voice, and okay, so then xale's like, wait, I had more people in my army. Where did they go? And the answer is, they're down here. This is a problem. Marine count is 45 to 29. That said, it is combat shield, it is stim, and it is +1 armor for xale. Now xale, he's working on +1 attack, and +1 attack is usually priority in these situations. I love the planetary here. Kittle's trying to see if there's a 4th base coming up, and there's not. You can't really do much to the 3rd with the planetary position, especially without any tanks and without any medevac to do any healing. A battle cruiser is on the way from Kittle. You usually see battle cruisers in TVT if they go long enough. Now here's where the medevacs and the stim are going to help immensely. Wow, really extending the life of xale's units, and bam. Everybody from Kittle gets obliterated during that battle. That was fantastically well executed. But again, the battle execution is sometimes in the steps that come up to it, right? Having the medevacs, having the stim, having the combat shield really helps immensely. Even though you're behind on upgrades, well, I guess 1-1 is pretty even with +2 as far as Marines are concerned, right? Probably. xale's getting a 4th base as well. I mean, this is This is some pretty good stuff, honestly. These guys are ready to get promoted out of Brave Noob World, it seems. Sooner rather than later, if I had to make a bet here. Kittle's third base is also a planetary. And at this level, I mean, traditionally you want your third base to be an orbital. If you're a Terran, your fourth base and fifth, and from then on can be planetaries. But at the lower levels, the extra income you get from an orbital at your third is not really going to be enough to like win the day for you. So anyway, fourth base coming up here from Kittle now. Army value is 65 to 60, but a lot of that army value is in these tanks and this Thor and this battle cruiser that are not doing anything, right? They're just sitting back. And if you have army just sitting back, it's nice that they're defending, but also it doesn't help you in this situation, right? Man, still no medevacs for Kittle. I guess he's using his gas on Thors and battle cruisers to this point. So also, xale, you need to go. Like, if you're going to go, if you're going to sit over on this side of the map, you got to do something. And he does actually, he's probably going to kill this base unless Kittle cancels it, and he doesn't cancel it. That's no refund at all. Planetary just, oh my gosh, no, Kittle. Kittle, why? Kittle, you're still in range, Kittle. Your guys, oh my gosh, Kittle. Okay, that's a 27 kill planetary fortress. That is 68 dead Marines for Kittle. Oh, hang on. Battle cruisers have jumped here. Do you have enough Marines to handle these? Stim, go. Trying to kill at least one of them. Bring additional Marines over. Okay, got one of the BCs. The Marine count is dwindling. The battle cruiser count is down to 1, but oh my gosh, the medevac. What are the medevacs healing? SCVs heal the Marines. Oh my gosh, and he holds there too. With exactly, what, 3 Marines left over, saving his butt. He is way ahead in resources lost. 5,600 to 2,600 right now. Xale, upgrades help a lot, right? There are no upgrades for those BCs at all. It is +3 infantry attack from Kittle, but he's got 24 Marines, I guess. He's been macroing fairly well. So this is a situation where Kale could pretty much take down this planetary with the stim, with the upgrades that he has, with the medevacs healing him, and that'll knock Kittle down to 2 bases, and then he won't have the resources to continue producing like he has been. Xale is floating quite a bunch of money. He is supply blocked, which is part of the issue here. He just started a supply depot, and I know it is hard to remember to keep making supply depots when you're defending against 2 battle cruisers, right, or when you're out kind of running around the map trying to find expansions from your opponent. So this is a sneaky attempt at an expansion from Kittle. I don't know that Xale is going to check that at all, unless he just kind of scans every base. But no, he assumes that Kittle is going to retake his third, but no, that's not happening. Yeah, look at this. He's like, huh, that's very strange. So here's, okay, let's see how this works out. The Thors are kind of attacking the medevacs, but never mind. Now they're going after the Marines, but by golly, the medevac healing, just the Marine count for Kittle gets obliterated. Thor down. Hang on. Are there? My gosh, they basically kind of one-shot these Marines. These Thors do with their +2 vehicle attack. Wow. Kittle thought that was funny. Ooh, look at Kittle using the alternate attack for the battle cruisers, or for the Thors rather, where they do slower single target damage and bigger chunks to single targets, rather than the splash damage that is the default. So, all right, let's see, 65 to 89 army supply. Xale is kind of just believing in the power of the Marine and the medevac. Additional siege tanks, I think, could do very well here. Siege tanks, especially if you had a couple siege tanks behind the Marines kind of shelling away at the Thors, that would have been very different. So this is why I say Marine tank medevac. Liberator is very good in TVT. Marine medic medevac can be pretty good. I'm not going to say it's a terrible strategy, but it's just having the additional DPS here. So this is the difference when you have medevacs versus a planetary, but the SCV repair is really good. He got there late, but sometimes it doesn't matter if you're late, as long as you get it done eventually, and Kittle saves the third. He also has a very sneaky 4th base in the top left he's hanging on to. Xale's expanding again. I love that. I do love the expansion timings. Still not spending money super duper well, but better than before. Again, being supply blocked makes it hard to do. He's 196 supply now. Oh, get out of there. This is bad pathing. I think he intended for the guys to leave based on what these medevacs are doing, and then they just went down the ramp to their des instead of taking this path like the medevacs did. So more Marines coming in. He's got +2 armor. He's really focusing on the armor over anything else today. I would prioritize attack for Marines. They just, with their +3, they hit so hard and so fast. Armor's good and everything, but it's not going to stop you from getting two-shot by a Thor, who's got +2 attack, right? You just need to attack as much as you can. So Kittle's very sneaky 4th base project is working. He's got exactly 1 SCV and 1 mule at it. So it doesn't provide that. Oh, he just scanned it. Just scanned it.
Additional supply depots required.
And he's supply block, but he's not. No, he's not. It's at 200 supply. You can't be supply blocked when you're at 200 supply. SCV transfer down here to this base. There are not SCVs to repair this one. So xale very patiently is here. Kittle defending the base that was here last time, but see, oh, hang on, the planetaries jumped to defend. This is an interesting battle to be sure. But yeah, I would absolutely focus the battle cruisers here. They are more expensive. They are so gosh darn gas heavy, and there you go. And now you can burn down the planetary. Hang on, the SCVs coming in for the repair this time. Is the rest of the armor for Kittle showing up? No. Oh my gosh, the SCVs are saving it again. They are. They're absolutely saving it again. Dude, planetaries with SCVs repairing. There are not many things on Earth that can take this down. Corruptors using corrosive, or corruptors using their spit attack can do it. And like Thors can do it, and siege tanks can obviously do it. And if you have enough Ravagers with corrosive bile, you can do it, and Void Rays can do it. Like, there is a list of things that could take it down, but it is hard to do with Marines, hard to do with Zerglings, hard to do, I mean, with a lot of different units in the game. Roaches, Hydras, more battle cruisers in production, though. Okay, get in here before the SCVs commit. They commit again. Oh my gosh, but it's not enough. Boom! Nicely done. There we go. That's how we do it. Too many SCVs were dead. We got the +2/+2 going. Kittle's knocked down to 3 bases at 16 minutes, which is not where he wants to be. Kittle with another lull. He's having a good time today. He laughs when he loses battles, it turns out. So, got his +3 Marines with +1 armor and a single Thor. And again, no medevac support at all. If Kittle believed in medevacs, I kind of feel like this game would go differently. But yeah, the Marines all die because of course they do. And look at him running from that Thor. Oh, 3 more battle cruisers jumped on the 3rd base here of xale. And he's making 3 more BCs too. I mean, this has been... Kittle's spending his money. He only has 100 gas, 800 minerals, and the upgrades, he's got +1 armor for the battle cruisers, but that's it, man. These Marines are just chewing them to pieces. Army values down to 82, 79. Top left base getting replanted from xale. Is that gonna be enough? Xale wants to know what's funny. It's a fair question. I think xale, I don't know. He's just finding humor in the fact that he's losing these battles. You are, says Kittle. What, because you're winning? That's such a weird concept. Alright, man. So, the pro tip here for xale today is make some siege tanks and bring them along. If you set up siege tanks behind the Marines, everything goes so much better for you. But just Marines... it's really not going to work if you're trying to get promoted versus Terran, Protoss, or Zerg, right? Banelings are going to show up. Colossus are going to show up. You're just... this Mass Marine stuff is nice. It really is. But especially if you don't know how to split, which I would recommend you figure out how to do as soon as you can. If you don't even know how to split, you're going to have a really, really bad time against the splash damage. So, alright. Here we go. 2 Thors, handful of very injured Marines. It's just so much Terran in this Terran versus Terran here. Yeah, the Thors die. The Marines are trying to take down this planetary. Oh, these medevacs, honestly, really get in the way of some of our super cool visions here. Alright, so yeah, Kittle's play today has largely been make battle cruiser, jump them across the map. In the meantime, before you have battle cruisers available, make Marines, run them across the map. Yeah, I mean, look, this will work against battle cruisers, especially if they don't have any gosh darn upgrades, which they don't. They have +1 armor and no attack upgrades at all, which battle cruisers benefit immensely from the upgrades. I mean, sure, they're going to get a bunch of kills, 10 kills each, but bam, xale wins. Kittle Taps out, down to 46 army supply, down to 3 bases. Oh, actually, I'm an idiot. Xale expanded up here. Colors are hard sometimes. But, yeah, not going to happen. Not going to win it today for Kittle. Xale manages to win with a patented medevac marine-style attack, which, again, not recommended. Not entirely recommended. But we'll go ahead and we'll give him the win here today. Resources lost are a full 23,000 for Kittle and 17,000 for Xale. 242 Marines and 8 medevacs died. That's pretty much the entirety of Xale's army that went down here today. He killed 17 BCs with it, though. And 143 Marines and 4 Thors and a planetary and an orbital and all sorts of great stuff there. So, yeah. Siege tanks, honestly, that's the pro tip today is you want to make siege tanks in TVT. They will back up your Marines immensely well. Just, they're so gosh darn useful. And otherwise, I like the macro. It's pretty good. I mean, maxed out, floating a little bit of cash here, but otherwise not too bad. Tanks. All right. Well, good stuff. That right there is going to be it for me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a brave noob world. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.